Welcome back to another episode of the Cinestro Core. We are in here. We are ready. It's your boy Blackspeed, aka Top Gun Gravic, and today I have with me Shit Fury and Gerardo. We are pumped up and
Why'd
ready
you?
to
Why didn't you put as much energy into my name as you did in yours?
Gerardo's.
No, to
No,
yours.
yours.
Shit, you were like shit
Just
fury, bro. Shit fury. Come on, bro.
give
It's a
me a
good
shout it.
name. Yeah,
Is it?
shout it from the
There,
rooftops.
there are children around. I can't use profane language.
Oh, you're right. That's why you whisper shit fury.
I'm like, that's supposed to be. We're talking about secret evasion. It's supposed to be a secret. That's what.
Yeah, secret shit
It's being
invasion.
sneaky.
The sneaky, little sneaky.
Don't do that. Stop. No, don't like that.
If you can't
I
tell by
love it.
if you can't tell by the creative names that we have come up with, we're talking about Marvel's Secret Invasion. We're discussing episodes 2 and 3 now streaming on Disney Plus. But before we do that, make sure y'all super scroll smash that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on the most entertaining podcast in the multiverse. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. We talked about this pre episode pre
You know
record.
how it pulls. They say don't dive in shallow water because you'll kill yourself. When you say
Yeah.
let's dive into it, that's how I feel. That we'll be
About this
diving into
episode.
shallow water about this show, and that we'll be diving into
swan
shallow water.
diving. We're
Yeah,
swan
head
diving in
first.
the shallow end, in the 3 foot deep water, just straight nose dive in there.
And straight neck, straight neck in that fucking the bottom of that pool, bro. Go for it, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Speaking of diving into this episode, let's talk about how we went from the first episode, the season 1 premiere. The energy was up here. I'll give it that. It was up here. It was very tense for a bit, and then it dove down to episode 2 to right here, and then it just nosedived. Me personally, nosedived.
Continued to
It's like a
fall.
a gradual, not even a gradual decline. It's like a steep, like
Are we
Tesla
just getting? Are we?
stocks.
Are
Every
we
time
getting? We're getting
Elon
straight
does
into
something.
it. We're getting
We'll
straight into it.
we'll get into that after we review the episode. So what are y'all's thoughts? What are y'all's thoughts and feelings about the second and third episode, the way this season's going so far?
It's dog water, man. I wasn't here for the first discussion on the first episode, but if I was, I would have said how I felt about it, and I was bored as shit. I didn't finish it for another like 3 weeks. I didn't. I'm not loving this show, and I'm really disappointed because I love Ben Mendelsohn, fucking incredible actor. I love Samuel Jackson; he's iconic. She's in this for like a second, but I love Olivia Colman.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just
My goal.
I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it.
No, I agree. I think you brought up a great point, Gerardo. I think my thing was I wanted to like this show so much. The
Mhm.
trailers hyped me up. The story, the comic book story that it's based off, is great. It's amazing, and so I was really excited for it. And then I saw the premiere, and I was like, I really hope this is not the tone they're trying to go for, and it is exactly the tone they're trying to go for, and it feels flat to me.
Yes.
And look, dude, we have defended dog shit. We have defended bad stuff, and it's not necessarily that the show is bad or terrible or the worst thing I've ever seen. It just seems so devoid of any soul or heart, and it's not. Look, I will say, just because I really want to get this out of the way, I mentioned in the group chat, I was like, what frustrates me about this show is that it doesn't seem to juggle its tone correctly, right? It's like it's an international spy thriller about who could be a Skrull, and they've infiltrated all our ranks of government, and all the terrible things that can happen if people aliens who can shapeshift take control of our human world, and it's like that should be intriguing, but they're trying to balance that very barely, like very surface level stuff, and then trying to implement comedy and humor and lightheartedness,
family relationships.
Yeah, in places
which seem like super small.
And
we don't want to see that.
And not necessarily we don't want to see that. It's like
I don't.
Make it appealing.
They're not.
Yeah.
they're not doing either one of those things well enough is the
Yeah.
problem. They're bullshitting both of them and half-assing both of them, and neither of them are working. If the spy intrigue was very well thought out, very well detailed, very well planned, and you had the audience on the edge of their seat, always guessing, being one step ahead, the audience doesn't know what's going on. You're leading them on this kind of on this cat and mouse chase across countries and international espionage, and that aspect of it was engaging and interesting. You'd be like, I can forgive the bad jokes and the kind of corniness and the bad writing. Well, if they did that first part correctly, it would be good writing. That's the problem. But you're like, if you did that, then I could ignore all these, this relationship aspect, the father-daughter aspect, all the husband and wife aspect. I could ignore all these poorly constructed relationships with these characters that I don't feel anything for. But they're not hitting either one of those targets. So it just falls flat. It doesn't work. Like I said, it's devoid of heart and soul, and it's just meh.
And it has no, what I would like to say, like the show has no precedent. Like it has no lead up. It's just they're like, oh yeah, now there's scrolls everywhere. We haven't seen scrolls since like
Captain Marvel,
fucking 6 movies ago.
Yep,
7 movies, like a long time. Multiple years have passed since scrolls were introduced, and we have not fucking heard of them since. Like, I think the last time I saw one was Spider-Man.
Was in also in Far From Home.
Yeah,
and then also in what's that movie called? The show with the WandaVision.
Was there a
like
scroll?
at the very end?
But the fact that we're trying to like,
it's at the end of one of those shows. I'm pretty sure. It was WandaVision because that was when the one lady went and talked to Monica, and she was like, "He wants to see you," and she's like, "He's here," and she points like at the sky, insinuating.
Oh Nick Fury. And there was a bunch of scrolls. On that.
I was like, "Bruh, like,
you're right. You're right though, Gerardo.
Happened.
You're very right, Gerardo. I think this is a difficult place that Marvel finds itself in, the MCU at least, right? It's like, are you prepare your audience to expect everything to be interconnected? Okay, fine. The problem with that is, right, that you can't go years without mentioning certain characters or certain group of characters. You can't go movies without mentioning stuff. And then when you finally decide to focus on characters that were introduced 6 movies ago, and now you're trying to make a show or a movie about those characters that were hinted at or shown or teased. Now you're trying to cram 6 in-universe years full into one project, right? Now they're doing all this exposition that's trying to catch us up on what happened to Nick and his relationship with Talos, what happened to Nick and his relationship with the U.S.
wife.
And his secret wife, his relationship to the U.S. government, where does he stand, his thoughts, why he's different. They're trying to do all this in a matter of 3 episodes, right? Whilst also trying to juggle what the Skrulls have been up to, what Gravitas'
Talos' own family relationships,
exactly,
killing off his wife whose name no one fucking knew.
Exactly.
Trying to make it a plot point.
Exactly.
I know, Matt. I know. But,
I know. No.
The normies like me. You know?
Well, actually.
And that's the thing. And it's like, if you're going to make it interconnected, then it needs to be a lot more cohesive, right? The storytelling at large needs to be a lot more cohesive. And if not, and if you're going to just do one-offs and make them stand alone things. You can tell a story with Nick Fury and the Skrulls without having to be so heavily invested on what happened with the blip and all these things. And I know that they have to tie it into Captain Marvel and all these things, but it's just and perhaps I'm just speaking out of my ass because they do have to be interconnected to those stories, right? That's where they were introduced, and the blip is a very important part of the MCU. But it's just like I don't know. It's just there's no
part. It seems very bare bones to me.
It seems very bare bones. Exactly.
They touch on a subject and then move on, and they touch on a subject and move on, and that's something that's really bothering me about the episodes is they can't stay in one place for a fucking
for
not
all
long at all.
50,
they move
all
on
50 minutes
really quick, and then they go back to it 30 minutes later, and that's not the same.
Mm-hmm. It seems
I think
rushed.
My biggest issue was that they were like, prior to this even seeing the first trailer, everyone was like, this is going to be the best show this is going to be a return to form from Marvel. Similar like Captain America, the Winter Soldier, which that's a really high bar to set for a TV show.
An even higher bar. People, like, I forgot who said it. People were like, it's Marvel's Andor.
Andor.
No, the fuck it is not, man. That's like saying The Flash is a good movie. Like,
this is Marvel's like Obi-Wan.
Bro, it's bad, dog. This is
like
Marvel,
barely. It's like it's only
Boba Fett.
This is Marvel Star Wars
Book
Resistance.
No, don't do this.
Animated show. No, I think you're absolutely right. But the problem with see, and if they would have made this like the Winter Soldier, they would have stuck more consistently to the tone. Yes, the MCU is funny and it has jokes, and the Winter Soldier does too, but it doesn't sacrifice the overall story and the overall tone for the jokes, right? It seems like whoever was writing the show was told, hey, every episode you got to add this corny ass conversation, this corny ass joke, something that kind of feels forced. It feels forced, exactly. Instead of letting the world and the characters and the writing breathe, it's not. It seems like there's way too many cooks in the kitchen. No, not once.
I laughed once.
I haven't reacted.
And it was when Nick told Telos that his food looked like dog food, and that was it. That's the only, because that's some shit I would say. That is the only fucking thing I've laughed at in this show, and I'm not sure it was supposed to be. I don't know if it was supposed to be a joke.
Also, I think
rough.
I think something that from writing perspective or kind of screwed them over is this should have been like a Nick focused show. I understand them trying to make it as grand and as far reaching as possible, but if Secret Invasion took place mostly from the point of view of Nick Fury, it was about a man alone on a mission. His country has turned their back on him. It's him against the world. He doesn't know who he can trust. That is a fantastic show.
They just need a remake Shooter with Nick Fury.
and it's like, you know, if
Mark
they would have made
Wahlberg.
that show, and if they would have made that show, and then Talos is in it sprinkled occasionally, and we have a couple other scenes, and we don't need to focus on Talos' relationship with Gaia and fucking his history.
We don't need to know
Gravik and
Nick's origin story and his success as a spy is because he used the scrolls, or maybe we do, but touch on it a bit more. Why is it just in passing every time?
Why is it a 2-minute conversation they have, and then that's it, and then we move on? It's nothing we've never heard of. It's not going to have any importance in the future. It
goes back to what we talked about like long ago, that you can't tell a full story in 6 episodes. You just can't, especially with a comic. How expansive comics are, how many issues run, and you know how there's like sub stories within comics, like Civil War. The comic is like, this is Civil War. Then there's also the before Civil War. There's each individual like arc going on inside the story. There's after Civil War. All of that is encompassed into one grand event. You cannot fit that into 6 episodes. You can fit half of that into 6 episodes. You cannot fit the Secret Invasion comic into 6 episodes. So the fact that they're trying to do that is another thing that's, you know, like we always say, it comes down to the writing.
Think of the fact, like, you know how serious this is just from a geopolitical point of view. The fact that there's an alien race of shapeshifters who have infiltrated the fucking United Nations. That is,
and every government, not just the U.S.
That's what I'm saying.
Every
the
government,
United Nations. That is, they could literally set off a nuclear holocaust at any given moment. And that's a plot point. Yeah, but I
don't know.
You saw how easily, how quickly they resolved that. It did not matter. It was not important. It was insignificant. They make you waste 25 minutes of the entire episode with Nick trying to stop this guy from blowing up a fucking UN plane that would set off World War III, and it was solved so fucking easily.
And what's the code word?
John.
I could have figured it out, bro.
Get that bullshit out of here.
And I'll tell
you know what I would have wanted to see. I wish they would have blown that plane up. I want to see exactly what happened.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Like FBI don't like put me on the watch list for that, but I want to see what would have happened if they actually launched that missile. So that way there can be some repercussions.
Yes. Fucking Telos's daughter dying.
Example. That's the thing. There are no consequences. The world that they're trying to build and trying to put us in, requires there to be, because Nick is a human character, so the
Mm-hmm.
stakes should be high, the consequences should matter, and it should feel almost impossible and suffocating, right? The kind of the weight on his shoulders, or the weight of the world on his shoulders. It's not. He's
The
navigating this
level,
world so easily and without punishment and without repercussions. And it's like, dude, then what the fuck does it matter if the Skrulls have infiltrated everything? If you still, like, no one's out, you haven't been threatened
Your
at
legs aren't
all.
broken.
Your
Like, you're
legs aren't
good.
broken. Yeah, like it's just,
Rhodey.
you're navigating this dangerous, perilous world of spies and intrigue and shape-shifting aliens like nothing, like a video game. It's just it carries
It's
no
just another day for Nick
consequences.
Fury. It's not like it's anything special. It's not like how he had to like form the Avengers because of the threat of Loki. It's
But
not like how
but
he had
even
to.
but even then, in a quest to try to humanize Nick Fury, are they kind of like making him a less interesting character? Like, you had mentioned that conversation, Gerardo, that Talos had with Nick Fury, where he's like, all those promotions you've got, the only reason you
Mhm.
went up as high as you did in the U.S. government is because me and a handful of other Skrulls
Spied for
basically
you,
spied
essentially.
for you,
We're a
right?
ring.
And we got information for you that no one else could have gotten.
I
We
didn't
got
like that. I'm like,
exactly.
why
It
are you taking
undermines
away
Nick's
his
character, right?
accomplishments?
It
Yeah.
undermines Nick's character and his
It's,
development
yeah.
and his
It makes him seem
importance.
less impressive and less like, I don't
Him,
know. I don't know.
less that
Yeah,
dude.
him. Yeah, because that's
Less,
he's that fucking guy. And they're like, nah, it's because of the scrolls. And I'm like,
yeah.
I don't love that.
That's what I'm saying. In a quest to try to humanize Nick and try to make these scrolls kind of matter more,
Mhm.
right? You're undermining a character who, up until this point, was kind of like,
Almost all knowing,
yes, like kind of this force of nature, these like
untouchable.
untouchable, exactly.
Hmm.
Which for a human character, you're like, oh, that's crazy, that's great, like the guy without powers, but he's kind of like the one who
Runs the show.
runs the show,
Hmm.
exactly. And then only for that to be, it doesn't matter, because if it weren't for the scrolls and the Nick Fury we have now, doesn't.
Yeah.
And I guess that could be an interesting idea, right? That could be an interesting topic to try to navigate, right?
If they don't
Kind
move on from it immediately.
if it
Like
mattered
they
more,
keep doing.
exactly.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah, it happens. All right, now let's go stop
Say word.
this
Let's go.
UN ship, this
Let's
UN
go
plane
attack
from
this
blowing
guy's
up.
kid. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know, man. It's just, and I know, Matt, you were like, who wrote this show? Kyle Brandt
The
he worked
AI,
on
the same
Kyle,
AI they
not
used to
Brandt,
make the intro.
Kyle Bradstreet, my bad. He worked on iRobot. I'm not iRobot, my bad. Mr. Robot.
I was about to say
Official.
iRobot. Like that doesn't
No,
make it
no,
any
my bad,
better.
my bad,
What's the
my
name
That
of
bad.
does
that
not
one?
make.
Who's the name of the showrunner or that main writer who
The
said it all?
director, Sam Esmail.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Sam got beef. But yeah, so
Got beef. He doesn't know
so
who
it's,
I am, but we got
look,
beef.
but look, it's like
This is
that show
unknown beef.
that show is good, and
Secret
I
beef.
understand them trying to be like, oh, we'll get one of the executive producers and writers from Mr. Robot and have him write our political espionage thriller. Like
Hmm.
that'll work. But I don't know if
Should
it's the
have,
fact,
maybe.
yeah. But I don't know if it's the fact that it's set in the MCU, right, where I don't, where everything has to, I don't know, man. I can't understand why the show's not working. I just think it's just,
It's just the biggest issue is going to be, and that I foresee that being the issue for every other episode too, until the end of this season. It's going to be the writing because the cast is phenomenal. They have a good cast. It's just garbage storyline. No, let me rephrase that. Garbage writing of a decent storyline. Like they have the material. They have what they need to put something together that can be very, very good. And they're just actively fumbling. It's like Elon running Twitter. They are actively fumbling something that's already, like you all you have to do is
Incredible.
just be there and it's going to go well. You have Kingsley Benadir. That man is acting his whole ass off.
He's
This man
doing
is
his best
carrying
to
the show.
save this show, but
It's like Luis said this in the chat. Every time he shows up on screen is when the show is good. He's doing what needs to be done. That last part of the first episode where he shot Hill and then just faded off, I was like, this is crazy. I have not felt this kind of
That scene
excitement.
where he's with the other scroll leaders from across the
Hmm.
globe in the
And he's
UN
just,
meeting, and he becomes a
yep,
scroll general. Like that scene is just
insane.
they were like, all right, Kingsley, go, and the
I'm gonna
motherfucker's
do
cooking,
one
bro.
better.
He's
The
cooking.
scene with him and Talos in the museum,
That
bro.
was
That dialogue right there. That I'm pretty sure this man went off script because there's no way these people are acting in the same show. He and him and I'll give it Kingsley,
him and Mendelsohn
Ben
are
and Nick are like the three that are acting, and even
See,
I'll even like
I don't think Ben is doing
Sam.
that great.
You don't think he's
Mendelsohn.
doing that great?
I think he's phoning it in, man.
I think
I
that
think
script
Oh
is
no,
phoning it in. I think
I
he's
think
I
he's
doing his
think
phoning it
fucking
in.
best.
I think Nick's
yeah.
phoning it. Sam's phoning it in too, man.
Sam
The
is.
King
I don't. I disagree with
in
the
their
Mendelsohn
defense,
bit.
is probably because Kingsley's just doing like Olympic level acting right now. This man is doing everything that
Kingsley the
he's doing what
best.
needs to be.
King
Kingsley,
Kingsley is the
goat
best
a beard.
actor. He's the best actor
Kingsley,
out of everybody on the show, except for probably Olivia Colman.
she's great. I like her.
She is.
Miss Fallsworth,
I
she's
want
doing what
more
needs to
of
be
her in the
done.
damn show.
What happened?
They're gonna.
I said I want more of her. Oh wait, you go, Matt.
I was just saying they gotta give her more. Yeah, they gotta give her more. I hope they give her more in the episodes 3 through 6 because 4 through 6 because we haven't
Oh,
seen much.
also something I want to mention. Then we can keep talking about things that we liked, or the two things that we liked. Something that I want to mention that I think is just super important: the fact that um, Marvel is, or this show in particular, is trying to um, like show the audience that, hey, we can handle mature subject matter as well.
Mm.
Now that we know that blood is allowed on screen in the MCU,
And they
when
chopped
they
that
show
man's
her
finger.
chop that guy's finger off, it was just like, I get it. You didn't need to do that. Like, I understand showing blood when needed, right? Like in Moon Knight, that shit would have fucked, would have been amazing. But you could
Werewolf by
show
Night.
her, yeah, or Werewolf by Night, exactly. You can show her grabbing the clippers and just keep a static shot on his face as she clips them off one by one or something, and you get
You
Mhm.
have like the
that
blood
same
splatter too, like a
or
little
something, exactly. You don't have to
spray.
like show
You
the
don't have to
finger.
show the finger.
It seems forced, and it's cheesy, right? Also, another scene that I thought was really cheesy. Now, Matt, you can tell me to stop, and if I'm overstepping any boundaries or anything.
I know
The
exactly what
scene
you're talking
the
I
about.
know.
scene
Yeah.
the scene where Rhodey is talking to Nick, right? And he's just like, and they're doing the, black men and power and these positions of power, and all we have to do and go through to first of all win these positions, second of all maintain them, right? Like, that is an interesting idea, right? An interesting thing to explore in a show like this. But the way it's written and the way it's performed and slash or filmed, it seems ham-fisted. Like, it seems like un what's it called? Not genuine
Uninspired.
and uninspired and lazy and
Like
and
shoehorned.
and shoehorned. Exactly. He's just like, I don't know. And again, I think that those
They're
kinds of
trying to
conversations.
write like Aaron Sorkin, but they don't know how to, and that's the issue.
And I don't know if it's the limitations of the world they're working in, right? Because, like I said, this guy worked on Mr.
You know,
Robot, and the writing on that show is great. It's fantastic. So I don't know if it's the limits of the world they're working in, or just, or what, because that's like a scene, a conversation, right? In a show like this, you'd be like, whoa. Like, if done very well, you're like, damn, dude, that was
if
like,
they had killed that,
It's not
it
the
would
you're
have
like,
been a
same.
you're
way
like,
better topic of
fuck. You're like,
conversation. But now
yeah.
we're just like, damn,
You're
It's
just like,
not the
kind of fucked
damn,
that
same.
one
bro.
up.
It's not the same feeling as Isaiah Bradley in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This one feels.
Which I also did not think worked personally.
I thought it was better than
It
this.
was
Though.
better than it was better executed than this. But again,
I don't
that's
think
Mhm.
that
because he's an
show works.
older.
I
I think it's
like
because
that scene.
he's an older super soldier. He's the first successful super soldier since Captain America.
There's
You
also
know,
an
so
emotional
but
component to it, right?
exactly.
Like, that
But
kind of works.
this one
It's
just feels
flat.
like, and again, it
It
comes
felt like a
down to the
table
writing
read.
because it felt like, yeah. And I mean, I guess it works in their favor on Rhodey's side because we're looking at Rhodey like this doesn't seem characteristic of him. You know, we've
It
seen
seemed
Rhodey in
Rhodey
the
like.
past few. We've seen Rhodey after he got his legs taken away from paralysis, and still, being Rhodey, this is different. This feels wrong. So I give them that. But like you said,
Mhm.
it feels really like they're trying to get like social points. They're trying to be like, look, we did this instead of
Exactly.
actually
It's like
writing
They
it the
tried
right
in
way.
they
Instead
tried
of
in
actually
Captain
writing it,
America and the Winter Soldier too,
yeah.
with
yeah.
that little speech at the end that did
Mm-hmm.
not fucking land. I said Anthony Mackie is not the man to give this speech, dog. Come
Anthony
on.
Mackie's not the guy to give any speech. Period. Why are you letting the motherfucker have
Man,
monologues, dog?
let
Stop.
me tell
Man
you,
was a
No,
bunch of
I
carbon,
just watched
but that's
Pain
just
and
me.
Gain.
is he in that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's Adrian Dorbal.
Is he
That boy,
ass? He's
That boy
bad.
was balls.
that movie is
Those balls.
garbage. Like,
Michael
Yeah.
Bay, bro. The Rock, Mark KKK
Unironically,
Wahlberg.
probably The Rock's best work
yeah,
No, that's
for whatever
Ballers.
reason,
Ballers is the
Never
best
seen
The
it.
Rock
work.
was acting
I
his
respect
life away
myself.
in that movie. He was
So he
doing well.
had to
Anyways,
because
this
he
is
was
not
with
a
Mark Ku Klux Klan Wahlberg.
yeah, Mark KKK Wahlberg. Mark
Mark Christians are a dying breed Wahlberg.
Catholics.
Mark hates
Oh yeah, he's
crime.
in a Catholic.
You want to
Right.
look up you want to see how
Yeah.
badly Mark Wahlberg hates crime? Google
Look up Mark
Mark
hate
Wahlberg
crime.
hate
Hate,
crime.
hate crimes for more information.
Mm.
But no,
Speaking of hate crime, the way this show is just being
yeah. Us having to watch the
written
shows that hate crime.
is disappointing. No,
No,
but
but
just to finish off on what you're talking about, that scene between Rhodey and Nick, it should have been done in a way that's like if they went the route of making this a Nick's solo show with everything, still the secret scroll invasion, the whole stakes are high, the world is under attack because of this invading race, but still make it solely focused on Nick. That scene would have been more impactful. It would have
imagine how
been
much more
more,
powerful.
it'd been more powerful.
I was gonna say, imagine how much more powerful that scene would have been if, like I said, it was from a Nick Fury point of view, right? He's kind of met up with Rhodey, the last man he thinks he has on the inside, who's on his side, and Rhodey just dumps this shit on him. You're fired. The country is turning its back on you. You're on your own. And then, and if you weren't so heavy-fisted and heavy-handed with the black men in power thing, that would work a lot more because he's like, come on, man, like, what we got to go through. You know how hard it is for us. He's like, and exactly, that's why it's just such a hard decision for me to make, because whatever, like it's.
Which also,
Go for
personally,
it.
I don't think this is out of character for Rhodey. Rhodey's a fucking hog, man.
He's a bootlicker, bro.
That man is a, what'd you say?
A bootlicker.
He is.
He is a boot. Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, he's a fucking
Like,
hog
this is
rider,
his exact stance he had in fucking Civil War. I don't think this is out of character. That boy is
It's
just,
not.
he loves the president.
And I think for all intents and purposes within the context of the show, I think it makes sense that he was like, dude, you allegedly you started World War III. Why the fuck would we back you? That it makes sense, right? Why would the United States be like, yeah, this is our
him
dude?
off.
Exactly. So it doesn't seem like he's exhibiting incredibly scroll-like behavior, incredible
scrollific activity.
Scrollific activity. Yeah, scroll-tacular activity.
We're trademarking all these right now.
Yeah,
Nobody, Marvel, no free clout. You're not taking this. You gotta pay us the residuals.
Should we mention something that I did like was their interpretation or adaptation of the Super Scroll? I think I understand. I know the Super Scroll and the Super Scroll powers in the comics, I know, are way different from the MCU.
And I saw that bullshit with
but
Extremis.
I think within, again, it's trying, when you're telling a story that spans fucking 20 years, you're gonna have to try to incorporate some stuff that works and some stuff that didn't work, and try to what's it called, put it back on course and put it back on track. So I think within the world of the MCU, and considering that the Fantastic Four have not been introduced and won't be introduced anytime soon, I think they used what they have at their disposal pretty well to make the Super Scrolls,
They better double back once they introduce the Fantastic Four to be like, okay, this guy adapted these powers now, so this is like Super Scroll version 2.0.
Cool. I thought that was cool. That part where Nick stabs him when Talos stabs him with the knife.
Cool.
and he
That part was
pulls out,
cool.
and then the
Yeah,
extremist heals it back together. That was kind of
it
dope.
reminded
I
me
thought it
of
was
whenever
cool.
in remember in John Wick 4 when he stabbed Mister Nobody's hand and he had to pull his hand out of the knife. I was like, that's
Yeah,
I see. I was like, I see what you did there. I'm
Stealing.
hip. I'm catching on. But like at the same time, the whole extremist thing, yeah, whoop, the extremist thing like healed up his finger. And I was like, oh my god,
and we saw that. We know that shot in
uh,
the trailer exists where Gravik does
where he
like a
does the
little like tentacle
extension.
extendo arm thing or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the fuck.
He has extendo
Bro,
arms. I
Yeah,
didn't
that's
watch the
the Groot.
trailer on
That's
purpose.
the Groot
that's
power
the Groot power.
I
Mm-hmm.
did see that the Groot thing was. I don't.
and an ice giant.
Do we need that?
He got that Loki and
That he got
Frost
so he's got
giant.
the
Frost
powers
giant.
from Groot, the Frost Beast, that animal that Thor was chasing on the first Thor,
Mm-hmm.
Call Obsidian, and
Cole
then the
Obsidian,
extremists, bro. Like
What the
Call
fuck was
Obsidian,
Call Obsidian's power? I thought
remember
it was just big,
big.
getting his arm chopped off by a
swole.
portal. That's his power. Getting getting
That,
Getting packed
cooked,
up. Getting
in two
getting
packed up.
packed
movies.
up. Two
Getting
movies
packed up.
straight, no type of activity, just getting
His power
packed
is
up.
not doing shit in the MCU.
His
What is
power,
his
his
power?
power is being cannon fodder. He just a
Which makes
Pretty
stormtrooper.
sense.
much.
Makes sense. He would make a return in this show where he's also not going to do shit in
Yeah.
the
They're trying to give him some what's it called? Oh yeah, he got stepped on by Ant-Man in
Bro,
what's it
by the
called?
Who's his
weakest
favorite
fucking
superhero?
character, bro. Don't play
That
with
boy
me.
useless.
That's why I hate
The
it
boy
because
useless.
Ant-Man's one of my favorite heroes, and then the MCU ruined him. That's why I'm so angry, and I will fight Peyton Reed to the death.
But to
I
be
challenge
clear,
him
his
to a death
favorite
match.
is the Hank Pym wife beater
Yeah,
Ant Man.
yeah.
Not
Gives
Scott.
him levels. Gives him levels.
Gives you
Talking
mean
about
layers?
you talking
Gives
about
the character
ultimate
levels.
talking about ultimate
Ultimate,
Frank? I mean ultimate
ultimate
Hank or
Hank,
the ultimate
ultimate
Frank?
Hank,
That was on some shit.
ultimate Hank. But yeah, I was just trying to point out a positive. I think that was cool. I like um the Super Scroll interpretation. I also like the fact that Nick is clapping some Scrollussy. You know, I think
Oh my god.
you know, good for
I
him.
don't like that. Call me xenophobic. I think the scrolls look fucking gross, and I don't
You
want to
seen
look at
them in
them
the
that way.
comics? They got the Thanos chin. Like
I don't
there's nothing
care.
good.
They're
There's
gross
nothing
to
good
look
about
at.
But
them.
Gerardo, think they can shapeshift. That means that when you smashing cheeks, they can shapeshift to
Don't let's
whatever
not
pair
do
of
this.
cheeks you like.
Let's not do this.
I'm just saying, you know,
We can
there's
talk about
positive.
that after we record.
Yeah, the Sinestro Core
Be
After
sure
Dark
to subscribe to our unreleased
to our
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
We're now live on Fansly, Fan House,
Many
OnlyFans.
vids.
Yo,
What do you say? Oh, a point I was gonna make. A point I was gonna make that I totally forgot about was the fact that I think it's kind of odd how Nick Fury is being incredibly xenophobic when he's talking on the train with Talos,
mhm.
and he's like, you guys can't coexist here. You know how hard it is. Humans are gonna whatever. We can barely coexist with ourselves, and yet he's like, I have a wife who's a scroll.
Yeah,
And I'm
right.
like, what?
Not
You're
everyone
What
is
do you
as
literally
mean
woke
by
as
that?
him. Okay.
What do you
huh?
mean by that?
Not
What do you
everyone is
mean
as
by
woke
that?
as
But he's using
Nick
it as an
Fury.
excuse to try to cover for the fact that he didn't help him find a home, and he's only been using and abusing these scrolls
Hey man,
quite
hey.
literally
What we
since they
need to
got
talk
here.
about, what we need to talk about, is how did that explosion kill 2,000 people, but just knock down Nick Fury?
Mathematically impossible. Oh, he's got plot
That's
armor,
not how
bro.
that works. He was
Plot
like a
armor.
foot away. Anyway, I wanted to touch on that.
That is
Has
kind of
been
crazy how they're
touched.
like, you killed 2,000 people, Gravik. I was like, there was like 500 people in that square. How did
Yeah.
how did
I was like,
you kill
that
2,000
sounds
people?
maybe
like a big
maybe
count.
when the buildings fell
And
down
they
from
said
the
it's gonna
explosion.
triple when we
The
clear the
subway.
rubble. I said, dude, come on,
Oh,
shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it was their 9/11, Fabio. It was
I
Russia's
think
9/11.
their 9/11 was. Well, let me not say that. We got CIA
Yeah,
operators
let's
gonna come
not
kicking
say
the door.
it. Whatever you're gonna say, don't say it.
No,
I think
say it.
9/11 was whenever in Mission Impossible 4 when the Kremlin blew up. That was the real.
Yeah.
That's
That would have
canon.
been
You're
the
right. That's
equivalent.
canon in the
That
MCU.
happened in real life. You're right. Yeah, that was a documentary. Mission
Stay
Impossible 4.
tuned. Stay tuned next week for our Mission Impossible 7 reaction. Look at that shameless plug. Speaking of shameless, our boy from
Seamless.
the Bear. No, we getting too far.
Hey, we're getting too. See, this is how bad secret shit invasion is. That we're just going talking about other
We're
shit that
talking
has
about
nothing to do
random shit, which to be
about
fair, we
good
do
stuff.
all the time. But now
But
we're
this
doing
one,
it to distract ourselves.
we're staying on top. We're still on topic technically.
What's
We're
another
talking about
thing y'all
invasions.
liked
We're
about
talking
secret
about
shit invasion?
invasions and like secret people infiltrating the world. These are other shows infiltrating this show's
Nick
episode.
took secret
Like, this is what's
invasion
going
too
on.
seriously because he was invading that squirrel pussy like nobody's business.
Oh my
He
god!
said, let's keep it a secret the way I be invading that pussy.
Okay.
If the soundboard still worked, I'd click the boo
Yeah.
button right now.
Yeah, look at him. He feels shame and he should.
I feel no shame. It's
No.
Bring
my
back
cross
What do
to
we
shame.
bear.
like?
My cross
What
to
do we
bear.
like?
Bring
What
back
do you
shame.
like? I know it's gonna be hard for you to pick something.
I'll say
The
something I don't
cast.
like.
That's about it. Gravik.
Kingsley Benedict.
Gravik is probably
Fucking.
my favorite
Why do
part.
they
Like
want me
I've
to feel bad about Maria Hill dying?
Oh, you like that?
Name. What has she
Bro.
done?
No, we didn't talk about that. Bro.
She married Taron
Oh, we
Killam.
talked
What do you
about
mean?
this before. We
The
talked
fuck
about
is
this
that?
before we recorded.
You get from SNL.
They
the
said
white
that she
dude.
was gonna get they said that she was gonna get development and
Yeah.
exposure during this episode, this season, this series. She
Packed
developed,
in.
right? She developed into a corpse. She got packed up. She got put in a box. She was developing for sure into maggot
Oh,
food.
Lizzie.
What is going on?
Oh,
And,
another scene that falls under the forced, corny, ham-fisted thing was a conversation Nick Fury had with Maria Hill's mom. That shit was dog fucking water.
It should have been more emotional,
my God.
emotionally
What?
charged.
She has a
She should have.
fucking mom now that we should care about. I said,
Exactly.
skip.
And Nick,
This
Which
shit
is
ended.
which I see what they were trying to do and be
You're the
like,
reason-
shield
you're the reason
agents have
she's
like
dead.
families and all that.
Bitch.
Remember like how in what's it called in Age of Ultron, how we were surprised that Clint had a family and all that.
Yeah.
Like shit like
I
that.
see what they were trying to do, but like it
Because I
didn't
got to
work
see
the
Linda
I would
same
have been
way.
like, bitch, shut up.
We
You
didn't
knew
have-
what your daughter was doing. She knew what she signed up for. Why are you blaming
Your
me?
daughter's just spy, bro.
Yeah, she knew what she was doing. I'm surprised she had died before this, bitch. I'm surprised she made it as long as she did. You're welcome that she survived as long as she did. Because
Technically, she died twice because of the blip, but this time she for
Oh.
real dead. She dead for real.
she didn't come, maybe unless she's a
Could be.
She
scroll.
dead real
Oh,
this
no, she
time.
didn't transform back. She didn't transform into.
We
a
didn't
scroll.
see. We didn't see it.
What? Oh, what if she's still alive
s-
and doing some top
The
secret mission
scroll?
for?
Boy, that'd be lame as shit.
No, if the version
No,
we
that'd be
saw was a
that'd be
scroll,
the easiest. That'd be the
I
easiest
thought that was
cop out.
Talos' wife.
that's
That
literally what.
she's dead too.
No,
She
like
is, isn't she?
yeah, she's
Yeah,
dead.
Talos' wife is packed the fuck up.
Yeah.
They make
Is
a big
Gaia
deal out of
packed
it
up?
too.
I don't believe that for a
Probably.
second.
I don't think they can
I don't
afford
believe that
You
for a
Amelia
cast
second.
Clark.
Amelia Clark in a show
You could
and
you
put her in
could
3
you could
episodes.
hear her untransform after she got shot.
She did it on purpose so she could trick Gravik into thinking she was
Oh,
dead.
she just like, yeah, I guess.
She 10 steps ahead, bro. She using that that
Also-
scroll super brain.
See, look at how fucking loosely like written this shit is. I thought Gaia had turned on her father because that scene they had in the sewer, but it turns out
Mhm,
no,
where she-
she's actually a mole on the inside, like working. It's like what? How? When did what?
Famously,
Did happen?
moles never
First of
happen
all,
in spy
if
movies.
what's his name
No,
really
I
wanted to
know
kill
it
her,
happened, but I'm saying it's like it's like the obvious.
lame.
Like,
It's
of
trite.
course,
It's
Gravik
done.
figured it.
It's
Of
done to
course,
death.
Gravik figured it out. Yeah, no shit. I would have thought that the bitch who has a fucking dad who's my enemy.
Who's the ex general? My new title is my
Exactly.
enemy. What?
Yeah, what? That's the spy? Come on, bro. It's like, come on, dude. God damn, man. What are you
Damn, bro.
doing, Feige?
Whoever wrote this probably wrote that fuck ass show, Mr. Robot or something.
they should have got the guy who wrote a Scorpion.
Oh, that NBC show or whatever.
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't even know
Guy
what that
from How to Get
is.
Away
With
from
the
Murder.
dude-
How to Get Away
With the
with Murder.
dude
We
who
get
is
the
like,
writers from the Bear.
like super
Can we
smart.
talk
He's
about
like
the Bear?
autistic
Yeah,
and super
yeah.
smart.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
what
the
you're
Good
talking
Doctor.
about.
No, not him.
I saw that on TikTok.
Scorpion, the TV show.
I
I'm trying
am
to
a
think of the
sturgeon. I am a sturgeon.
what was his name?
Don't get him started.
I know what you're
Elias
talking about.
Gabel. Yeah,
Yeah.
Walter O'Brien, that dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that show was alright.
I gotta watch that shit.
Bro, look, Secret Invasion is so bad. You're talking about fucking Scorpion.
And the Good Doctor.
Come on, bro.
Lisa's saying TikToks because we can't name what the things we like about this show.
Just
because it's not much to
I like
say.
the Living
The problem
Planet,
is,
and I liked the Super Scroll. Lisa already said that, and I already said my other one, so that's it.
One takeaway: just put Kingsley Benadir in everything. He's phenomenal. He's amazing.
bro,
Does
like
not
we
miss.
said, this man is cooking too much. They're gonna put him in the DCU
until some
Yeah, don't kill
allegations
him off
until some
in the
allegations
show.
come out that he
God,
sexually abused
no.
somebody or some
God,
bullshit,
no, please,
bro.
no.
It's a matter of time. It happens.
No.
Every
Why
good
is
villain in the
Why is that a
MCU.
trend with Marvel now? I fucking hate
God,
that.
Marvel
please,
villains,
I'm
bro.
begging you. Inshallah, he will not be in any
Because
like, drama. Please.
It happens because they're villains in real life. That's why they're such good villains on screen, bro. That's why. It's method acting, bro.
I don't like that.
If he's method acting in real life, I'm terrified for our safety because he blew up the Moscow, the
genocidal.
Kremlin. So
Murdering
I'm very
children.
terrified.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he killed kids. He said, "What about it?
Yeah,
Humans."
okay. Bro, Gravik
He said,
is him, bro.
We're gonna kill
Also,
more.
see, look, this is the problem, right? Is that now we're at the point in the show, at least for me, where I'm like, dude, I like Gravik more than let me follow
I'm
this
cheering
motherfucker.
for the villain.
Not
Yeah, I'm cheering for
Gravik,
the villain.
but you're not
cheering
supposed
for
to.
his yeah.
He's not a Namor, you know, who's like conflicted, and it's like, oh, you're like Gravik's a bad dude and hot, yeah.
Terrible.
You're like this, you're like Gravik's a bad son of a bitch. Like this guy's not a good dude, and you're like,
He's horrible.
and you're like, yo, yes,
bro, he killed children. Like that's like the one line you don't cross in like villain world, bro. You don't kill children.
Psychopath.
And he killed a child.
And I'm just like, you know what, Gravik?
All I'm hearing is he's about it.
Yeah, he about it. Yeah,
He about
it.
He's that
him.
dude.
He's him.
He's him.
In villain terms, he's him.
So I'll keep watching the show just because I want to see more Kingsley Benadir scenes. I want to see him cook. I need to see him and Olivia Colman have some scenes together because that's about to be fire.
Please don't bring them together. That means he's gonna kill her.
I need Ben Mendelsohn to step it up and stop phoning shit in because his career is about to end if he keeps this shit up. And Samuel is an icon, and I love him, but man, god damn, Sam, what are you doing, bro?
I think the only reason I'm going to keep watching this show now is because, like, one, I know it's going to tie into the future of the MCU, and two, Kingsley.
Maybe.
Like that's about
such
it.
Such a bad reason to watch some shit, bro.
I lost interest. I've honestly lost interest right now. Like I told y'all before we started recording, I was not paying attention to these last two episodes. Oof. I watched it and I had to sit there like, what just happened? I had to think back, what happened? Even though I just watched this like 5 seconds ago. What happened over the last 40 minutes, 50 minutes of me sitting in front of this TV?
Oh, also the action fucking sucks.
It's
bad. It's not good.
Great.
If the action was good, I'd be like, hey, at least the action is like good.
You know what it's missing?
It's fucking dog shit.
Do you know what it's missing? It's missing like real scroll activity, like them fighting and running into like a crowd and shape shifting a million times, and they're like, everyone's like, where did he go? And he does something random like 30 blocks.
They did that whenever Talos walked out of the museum and he shifted into that old man who gave him his phone. And
that was Gaia.
And Gravik.
Yeah, Gaia was the old man.
I know.
Yeah, that's how he knew she was a mole.
Oh, you're right.
That doesn't really count. I need like you know how the chase scene at the beginning of the first episode with fake Everett Ross.
Mm-hmm.
I need something like that, but like them running into like a plaza or something.
See, I'm just talking.
But they already wasted the plaza scene.
That scene in episode 2 where Talos and Nick Fury are fighting that informant who's a Skrull, and they show up to his apartment and they gotta fight him. That fucking sucked.
Dog water.
The
fighting that balding guy with the kid.
That fucking sucked.
That was
where they have to break into this guy's house so it can stop the fucking destruction of the UN plane. That
was just them. Sucked. They shot 3 people and that was it. You know what they should have done too? Like the scene where it was Gravik.
Ben Mendelsohn and Samuel L. Jackson are also like 80 years old each, so it's like,
yeah,
I get it, but it's like, fuck, dude.
What they should have done was the scene with Ben Mendelsohn and Kingsley in the museum at the diner. Whenever he like shoved them and they all transformed. They should have had something happen there. Should put
That
like
would
a
have
game
cool
of
if he
guess
fought
who
them all
because
off, or if
there
he
was like
fought them all
30
off.
different there's like 30 different Kingsleys over there. You got to figure out which one's the real Gravik. Like make this intriguing, make this interesting. We're playing this big game of who is the scroll, but like we're playing it, not like we're watching the show and thinking like, oh my gosh,
Also,
what is going on? You know what I mean?
I've also thought about like, will Who's a Scroll only be limited to the show, or will it matter
will it
in the
be
MCU
past?
going forward?
They're
Is
gonna
what I'm
name
saying.
whoever's dead in the MCU. They're like, oh, they were a Skrull the whole time.
Oh God,
That's exactly what they're gonna do.
Black Widow's gonna be a Skrull.
I saw a post that
Fucking
said,
Iron Man's a Skrull.
yeah, what if Tony came back and he was actually a Scroll or whatever? People were like, what do you?
Or
What
the
would
real
you?
Tony came back and the other one was a Skrull. Like, no,
Shut the fuck up.
That would destroy every emotional aspect of
I don't
Endgame.
think they wouldn't do it.
That would remove whatever. That would cheapen Endgame so hard that I would
Robert
Robert
wouldn't do it, I think, but
they wouldn't do it. Robert wouldn't do it. But the question is, who are they willing to make a villain from now on?
Colson's gonna be a Skrull and he's gonna be alive.
Who the fuck? That man hasn't shown up.
Hey,
that
one's actually
canceled.
That one's actually believable because think about it. Coulson
but it doesn't matter, bro.
Coulson and Nick encountered Skrulls. They encountered Skrulls in the beginning in the 90s, right? I do. Coulson's real. Coulson's him. Coulson
got killed
I would
twice,
watch the
bro.
show if he was.
Was that Coulson or was that Skrullson?
Oh,
he just wants to bring him back again.
Was that Black Widow? Was that Natasha? Was that Skrull Tasha? Was that Quicksilver? Or
that one I'd be okay with. Bring back Quicksilver, please.
That one I don't know how they'd explain that because, like, bruh,
where's he been?
If
you think about how, like,
not just dodge the bullet.
If you think about how, like, what's it called? You just brought up a good point, but
because his grandma wouldn't let him be in more movies.
Yeah, fucking Craven.
Hey, bro, go.
It's gonna be
Let's
ass.
go.
Shut up.
Midvin.
Can be worse.
Best.
It'll be better than Morbius. It'll be better than Morbius, and it'll be better than Secret Invasion. That's for sure.
And it'll be better than Venom and Venom 2.
It'll be worse somehow.
It's not hard. It's not hard to be better than Venom.
Those movies have been on a downward spiral since they've come out. Why would it be better?
Because it's called linear
degradation. Linear degradation.
Well,
that's what
Venom. Not a math major, bitch. Get that shit out of here, bro.
Yeah, who's J.C. Shandor?
That's not math.
Isn't that statistics? He directed A Most Violent Year with Oscar Isaac. He directed Triple Frontier.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This movie's still going to be ass. Anyway.
He directed, was it Shot Caller?
Just smacked my foot. So who do we think is a Skrull?
I'll tell you now, Rhodey off top.
Rhodey like a motherfucker.
That man is a hog. He's the same as he's been.
No,
but this time he's for sure. No, listen to how he was talking to
the president
of
the United States is a fucking Skrull.
Oh, absolutely.
That would believe.
Because the prime minister's one off rip, that Joe Biden.
There's no way they don't have all the leaders.
Definitely. Then they had the Fox News type guy.
He's also a pretty big actor. He's the guy who was in Scream 6. Dermot Mulroney, I think is his name. Is the president of the United States. Mulroney? Yeah, it's Dermot Mulroney, the guy from Scream. The
weird-looking guy.
The cop.
Yeah,
that's him.
That's him. You don't cast Dermot. I mean, he's not like super fit, but you could have cast.
He's relatively big.
You're not going to cast Dermot Mulroney if he's not a.
Who do they have as the last president? Some fucking guy.
Nobody.
Yeah. No,
exactly.
Yeah, he's definitely a Skrull.
He's a Skrull. He's got to be.
Sad
There's no way.
Olivia Colman's character dies, and then she's a
bad? Skrull. I don't understand what's going on with her.
I think she's
a great character. She's a great character right now.
Because she was torturing the Skrulls. She's trying to find out where they are, but she's also working with Nick, right?
She's a good Skrull. Maybe.
Is she a Skrull?
I'd hope so.
She works for MI6?
Yep.
You want to have
head of MI6. Yeah.
And she owns restaurants on the side? Is that or
she's a chef on the side.
Side hustle. She Bro, he was he was Green Lantern in the Batman. That's crazy.
Who?
Dermot Mulroney.
The Batman?
Yeah, and the animated
Okay, I was about
TV
to say.
show.
I was like, in the
I
Robert
said there
Pattinson
was
the
no
I
Batman.
should
Green
have.
Lantern,
I
dog.
should have. I should have specified there wasn't a Green Lantern in the Batman
Yeah, we got the
movie.
we got the leaked version, the uncut version.
Yeah, we got the what's it called? The director's cut, the Reeves cut.
Yeah, the
You know
Reeves
what's
cut.
crazy too? This
What?
boy was he Dermot Mulroney was the
Dermot
president. He's the
Mulroney?
president. He's the president in Secret Invasion. He played a president in Messiah, and he
Whatever the
played
fuck that is.
that's that show with that fake
Netflix show.
Jesus. Yeah,
The fake Jesus.
Yeah,
I'm
and he
telling
was
got
in
you,
canceled. Don't
He
worry
was in
about it.
Shameless too. He was
I'm
also in
telling you,
Shameless.
he's like people know him. Like
Relatively big.
you don't. He's like a C lister, C plus at best. You don't cast
Hey.
Dermot Mulroney like for a nothing part. You could have given, if the president was a nothing part, you would have given it to some random old white man to play the president. You know,
Mhm.
Joe
he's a
Biden.
scroll for sure. No, someone who could memorize their lines.
Joe Biden's son.
Hunter Biden.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
it's my
Go.
boy.
Go. Let Hunter run for president.
I'd vote for him.
Oh my
winning.
God!
He's winning, bro.
I'd
So it's
vote
gonna
for
be
him.
Hunter versus Robert Kennedy Jr. for the Democratic nomination.
Some only
Robert
cool
Kennedy
guys.
Jr.'s
Yeah,
Only cool guys.
You only let cool guys run from now on.
versus Trump and DeSantis. We really don't have many options now.
Bro, I let Hunter run his country over any of those motherfuckers.
It's already kind of run over. He's not doing much else.
I'd rather my president
What's
fuck
what's
bitches
the worst
get money,
that can
you know?
happen? What's the worst that can happen? I mean,
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like,
He ends up in jail. Ooh.
He can be
Anyways,
frozen from jail.
holy shit, we're going. We're just. Secret Invasion sucks. I don't like it. I hope it gets better. I doubt it will,
won't.
but I'll keep watching just to see. Are we giving this show so far a star rating?
nah,
rating?
I'm gonna give it a rating
Let's
at the
give it some
end.
thumbs. How many thumbs up it gets? That shit gets 1.
My
Max
thumbs are
out of
broken.
10.
Gets 2 thumbs down.
My thumbs are broken. That's how bad it is. I broke my thumbs just now typing. No, I'll give it a thumbs down.
Call me Commodore. Where I give you a thumb down.
You mean Commodus?
Oh, Commodus. I said Commodore.
Commodore?
The Commodores. The Commodores.
That boy think he in the
Gladiator is his favorite fucking movie.
It is my favorite movie. One of my favorite movies.
He's excited for Gladiator 2.
Bro,
Gonna
I'm
be
so
us.
fucking hyped for
Gonna be us.
Paul Mescal, fucking Pedro
I don't
Pascal, Denzel Washington,
Who's directing it?
Ridley Scott.
Yeah, what has he made recently? Prometheus?
That was
Yeah.
a fucking banger.
Ass.
Prometheus was a banger, bro.
What else has he made recently?
Napoleon, the movie with Joaquin Phoenix that comes out this year.
I haven't seen that. I can't
House
judge
of
that yet.
Gucci.
House of
I gotta watch that
Gucci.
fucking movie.
House of
House of
Gucci.
Gucci.
My House of
That's
Gucci.
Gucci.
The House of Gucci.
No,
It's
I
gonna
just
be
have
good.
no
Gucci.
connection to Gladiator,
Gladiator
and
2
I,
fucks.
I'm not
It
excited.
fucks. It's gonna fuck.
Nah,
We'll see.
I'm
I just don't think we needed a sequel.
And I do. So
bless you, damn.
thank you. See,
We're talking
Like,
about
who the
Super
fuck is Paul
Scroll.
Mescal
We're
playing?
talking about Super Scrolls.
The
He's
main
over here to
character.
super sneeze.
Yeah,
Like, what's
who is
going
he?
on?
I don't know. Oh, Barry Keoghan was supposed to be in it too. Keoghan. He had to
Scorpius.
drop though. Scorpion.
He had to drop it. Good for him.
Yeah. What
He did better.
was Gerard Butler, Russell Crowe's character's name in Gladiator? It was
Maximus.
Maximus Aurelius. Something.
Commodore.
Maximus Aurelius.
It was Maximus Aurelius something.
It's
Right.
General Maximus Decimus Meridius.
Oh, Decimus Meridius. What?
Why
I
are we
get-
still talking
where'd
about
I-
Gladiator?
where'd I get
It's fucking
Aurelius from?
Secret Invasion.
Who's Aurelius?
I don't know.
Oh,
His
doesn't
surname.
he served under someone named Aurelius.
Yeah, he earned the favor of Marcus Aurelius.
Marcus Aurelius. Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking about.
Mm.
Yeah,
Great
You know
movie.
that guy.
Great movie.
good
And
film.
the
Good
second one's
film.
gonna fuck.
See what happens when you write a good movie, a good project. People remember it. I do not think I'm going to remember Secret Invasion outside of like
I
I'm
already
gonna try my
forgot.
best.
I already don't remember.
Yeah, I already don't remember what happened in each episode. I just know stuff that happened.
I
Yeah.
remember.
That's
Let me
how
put it this way:
little.
it's been 3 weeks since the first episode. I remember the first episode more than I remember these last two. Mind you, I watched the third one before we started recording this. So if that tells you anything,
Literally right before recording.
That's crazy.
if that tells you anything, that means this show's not good.
Bring
Go
back
watch,
Moon
go
Knight
watch
and do it
Past
right.
Lives. Go
I
watch
hope
Past
that
Lives. The
I hope
Celine
that
Song joint. It fucks.
I hope that the
Fuck's
second
Past
half
Lives.
of season one changes
Stop
and
saying
makes
season 1 of this show, because there better not be a
Yeah, it's
season
a
2.
limited series.
There better not be another
it better
season.
be
It better be
limited.
it better stay limited.
It better be limited to this. They better
They
be
better
like,
take
yeah,
it
it's
off
actually
Disney Plus after 7 weeks, like they did on that one movie.
They better do.
oh
They
Crater.
better.
Crater that was
Oh,
they dropped it on
fuck.
May 12th and it's gone
Tax
now.
write off.
That's
You know what's
crazy.
crazy? I had added it to my watch list like literally the day before I saw that tweet, and I was
That's
like,
funny. That's
"That's
funny.
some bullshit, man.
I
Why
mean,
they
that's
take that
horrible.
away?"
But I mean,
It's
motherfuckers still got
horrible,
paid. Who gives a shit, bro? They all got paid.
I wanted to see
but
it.
they don't get the residuals from it being on the thing.
People don't get
They were
residuals
gonna
from
get it
streamers
regardless.
anyways.
They don't get
streamers
residuals.
don't.
Oh, bro,
barely,
somebody
like
lied.
pennies on the dollar, maybe if that.
Hey, man,
Because
money's
why do you
money.
think why do you think streamers don't release data? Because that's part of the reason the strikers are writing. They want streamers to be more transparent. They want to know how many people watch their shows for how long, etc., so that they can get compensated for it. And streamers are like, we're not
I'll tell
doing
you
that.
right now. Secret Invasion don't want that. They don't want
Yeah,
that.
no one's rewatching this bitch.
You know how many people are watching this show? Us, because we're talking about it on the episode.
Nobody watched
I
Andor.
force
Either.
myself to watch this one. Andor was a
Begrudgingly
fucking
watching
banger, though.
Nobody watched
It's
it.
different.
Though. I know.
Andor was more gooder. All right, they had cool stuff. They had
God,
that
could have
ship.
been so
They
good,
had
bro.
what's it, Luthen's ship was the greatest spaceship I've seen. Why are we talking about Star Wars?
I
Why are
know.
you talking about it like was? We're getting another season. There's no way we don't.
But this could have been. This had potential, bro. And instead
This
we
is
got
what this goes right back to
Samuel L.
goes-
Jackson fucking having senile moments on camera, bro. It's
this goes right back to what we talked about, bro.
I don't know about
Writing
that.
and people who care about what they're making. It doesn't feel like these
But
people care.
where do we draw the line between the creatives and the writers can't write something good, which we know they can, or they weren't allowed to write something good?
The creator
that comes
literally
down to
wasn't
this.
allowed to read the fucking comics.
Here's the question. That too,
Oh,
That's
really?
a studio.
That?
That's a studio problem. That's what I was about to say. That's my next point. Is this a Bob Iger thing or a Bob Chapek, whatever?
Chapek?
Yeah, that imbecile. Because he's
It's a
apparently
Kevin
he was
Feige
the
thing.
apparently he was the one who was in
Bob
he's
Chapek is
the
gone.
reason.
Chapek is gone though.
Here's the reason. He was the reason. I'm saying in quotations reason because all this stuff was put into their wheels were
Motion
going
by
long
him.
before Chapek or whatever.
Chapek.
Bob too.
Chapek.
Instead of more
Chapek.
times.
I'm not saying his name right, bro. He gone. He's not my
Fuck
boss.
that guy
Bob Iger.
anymore.
That's my president.
Bob Iger for president.
Salute the flag.
Yeah.
Bob Iger, the Disney mouse flag,
everyone's work can be fucking a tax
written
write-off.
off to the AI.
Yeah, exactly.
No, for real. Like if you think about it, like this could be another like one of those studio interference, and they're like, we want it to be this way because we're trying to change the flow of blah blah
Look.
blah, and they completely fumbled it all.
All I'm saying is that there's a reason why the past movie, the movies of this phase and the shows of this phase have fallen flat, and Guardians is the only thing that anybody has been like, this is unanimously good.
Undeniably good.
Because we
And
know,
Werewolf by Night.
right? And Werewolf by Night, but
Gael Garcia Bernal supremacy.
those are singular visions. We know for a fact James Gunn was given free reign to do whatever the fuck he wanted.
My president.
Right? We know that Michael Giacchino has also said that they let him do what he wanted to do. So we know that the filmmakers with a singular vision, with an idiosyncratic taste, make good shit.
I like that word. Idiosyncratic.
So if Wakanda Forever, if all the Disney Plus shows, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, Secret Invasion, and all these, if the Marvels falls flat as well, then it is a studio problem, hands down. through and through. I don't give a fuck. And people need to stop blaming the actors, need to stop blaming the filmmakers, need to stop blaming
Yeah,
everybody involved
Chloe Zhao was right.
Yeah, and that's why she's making a sequel.
Love
But that's why.
Eternals.
But people need to stop blaming the creatives in charge and blame the suits, right? And all the executive producers and the producers and Kevin Feige and maybe even Bob
it's
Iger.
like
Like that's the thing. Like
it's
you
like we
can't
said.
blame the artists who are being limited and handicapped, right?
It's
If
like we
Kevin
said
Feige
last
tells
week.
me you can't read the fucking source material and you can't. Here's a script. Here's a rough draft. You got to change that. Make sure to add this. You got to add this cameo. We want it to tie into this. And you're just like, you're not letting me exact my vision, my artistic vision, and it's limiting. And we're getting
Thought he
shit.
said autistic.
And you
That'd be
gotta
better.
let them be autistic, right? They're not letting them. But that's the thing, and
Make
that's why
the
we're
show
getting
more better.
that's why we're getting dog shit stuff, dog shit art, because it's not.
Mhm.
They're not letting the artists art.
It's
You know,
it's like we said last week during the DC episode. You know, the Snyderverse could have been good if they had done the right thing and like been competent with the writing and the direction of the whole universe. They had good actors. They had great actors, to be honest. They had
Right.
Amy
Joe
Adams.
Manganiello.
Remember,
Joe
I got jumped.
Manganiello.
I got
Banger.
jumped by. No, I have to say great because I don't want to get attacked by that Amy Adams stand again. I got jumped because I said Amy Adams. Her portrayal of Lois Lane was like ineffective to me.
She's a great actress.
Yeah, she's a phenomenal actress.
The
role is mid.
The
horrendous.
writing was horrible. Same thing with Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill was just there in a blue and red suit.
I think Henry
No,
Cavill's
shut the
mid.
fuck
This
up.
is a
You
hot
flip
take.
flop on this all the time.
No, I don't. I
Who,
think he's
me?
not a good
Do
Superman.
you like it? Do you like him in Man from Uncle?
No,
Who, me?
I like him in. I like
Shut
him
the
in.
fuck up.
I like him in Mission
Okay.
Impossible.
Yeah. So then
He's
he can
great.
do good work when he doesn't
That's the
have
thing.
dog shit. All right, bro. Whatever.
Nah, bro.
We're talking
Look
about
at
my boy like that.
Kingsley Ben-Adir's been great in everything he's been in, even the dog
But
shit
that's
stuff.
because Kingsley is
Why?
just he's
Why?
him. He's him. Himsley Benadir. That's
what I'm
my
saying.
goal.
And Henry Cavill is not. He's not
Henry
a fantastic
Cavill.
actor.
Is that what you just said? Henry Cavill.
No, he's
I'm
not
so
him.
mad right now. I'm
He's
so mad
shittly
right now.
Cavill. I'll
I wouldn't
down
say
his fucking
that.
hell. Henry's good.
I
He's
wouldn't
not
say
great.
that.
He's not
You are
great.
gonna
He's not
down
great.
this little bitch because I'm gonna kill you for that.
What about The Witcher?
Jason Cohen's that's why he left.
He's
Dog shit
the
ass
only
writing.
thing that was okay
That's good
about it,
about
and
that
that show's
show.
ass.
Dog shit show.
Then again, it's a Netflix show. Anything
I
Netflix
got
spits
Luis
out is
into The
kind of
Witcher. He
garbage.
knows just how ass that fucking show is now.
I know.
I'm not even
I know.
gonna watch it
I didn't finish
'Cause
season
then-
2, bro.
Play
they
the
got
game,
Thor.
dude.
They got
Just
Thor's
play the
brother trying to fill in for Henry
Oh,
Cavill.
They
I
got
don't
Miley
see it.
Cyrus's ex.
Yeah, Miley Cyrus's ex.
Miley Cyrus's ex. Best
That's
part
his
of
greatest
Expendables
accomplishment.
2. Nah, his best part
Was
was
when he died.
Expendables 2 when he
Was when
got
he died.
shot. No, he didn't get shot. Bro, Jean-Claude Van Damme's old geriatric ass
Stabbed
kicked
the
a knife into his chest. Bro got
Packed up
Bro,
by
God.
a fucking
Expendables
by
4 is gonna be
Nine-
bad.
92
Bro.
a 92-year-old
listening.
kickboxer dropped a knife into his chest. That man did not belong in Expendables 2.
yeah.
He doesn't
action
belong in
star
any-
Liam
in any-
Hemsworth.
It doesn't. No, it's action star with like a question mark in parentheses. Action star Liam Hemsworth.
It's action with a K. Action star Liam Hemsworth.
more like
Action
more like-
star.
Action,
like
His eyes and everything he's
star.
in.
Action
more like
star. That's
act
true.
shouldn't be in a movie. More like act should start applying the jobs on Indeed.
Anyway, that's been this week's episode covering secret shit invasion. Secret shit
This boy
invasion.
said, "I
Lead
just
us
saw
out.
what you typed." Oh
what?
man,
In the chat.
I just saw what you typed on the
writing
script.
in the Google Docs.
I've been trying to
Okay,
figure
type
out what to
something.
do for the next episode because man, I don't know how I'm gonna make it through the rest of this season 1 of Secret Invasion if it's not more
We'll talk
bitter.
about the bear next episode if the next episode is ass too.
I gotta
Yeah, we'll just
catch
talk
up on
about other
that.
shit.
When the episode is ass.
We'll just be like, this was
When-
shit. Anyways, here's something better that we watched this week.
John Bernthal.
Yeah.
Incredible.
John Bernthal.
Incredible. Well, you know what's
What's
incredible?
that other guy's name? Something Allen White.
Jeremy.
Jeremy Allen
Jeremy
White.
Allen White. Incredible.
You know what's incredible? That we're done
That
talking
this
about
show is almost
Secret
over. That
Invasion.
this show is
So
almost done. If we're
that's a
more than
wrap.
halfway through the season.
That is
That's
a
incredible.
that is a wrap for today. We appreciate y'all watching or listening to our channel. Be sure to follow us on all platforms at Cinestro Core to stay tuned on everything coming up this year. Super scroll smash the MF like button and show us how much you enjoyed this episode by leaving us a 5-star review wherever you listen to this podcast. Send our podcast and YouTube channel to your friends, your enemies, your scrolls, your family, new scrollos, your coworkers, to
Old
Rhodey,
Skrullos
old scrollos. Post it in the group chat. Send it everywhere.
to the
Thank you guys,
Skrull
and we'll see you
baddies.
next. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time on the Sinestro Core. Peace.